Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jamie Plays with me, Jamie. Today, we're looking at Star Trek New Horizons, and we're going to be having a look at the special resources that are present within the game as of Into the Mirror Darkly. So this is the most recent release. We're currently operating on Stellaris version 2.5.1. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the special resources and how you use them. So the base resources are the same as in the game. The first three are your absolute basic resources. They can be produced either from a station. For example, we have a mining station here and here. This one's receiving energy. This one is mining minerals. These two can be produced either on a planet or via these mining stations. Food is only produced on a planet. However, it can also be produced on a shipyard as well. I think if they have hydroponics bays, you can produce them on a shipyard. On a starbase. A starbase can also produce energy as well if it has solar panels. We then have supplies and alloys. These are produced, so supplies are produced only on planets. So if you need more supplies, you need to build a building that will get you supplies. It requires minerals in order to create and is consumed by your population. Alloys are produced primarily on planets as well. However, you will sometimes see a couple of deposits in the galaxy that basically you build a mining station around, and then it will give you one or two alloys per month as well. However, moving on to really the special resources that are in Star Trek New Horizons, we can see there is quite a long list. So we'll go through all of these and I'll tell you what they do and where you can find it. Also note, for example, these first two special resources are also shown here. And the reason is because they are trained officers and dilithium. Both of these are used to both build and maintain your fleets as well. So the first, trained officers, is exactly as it sounds. These are people who have been trained to operate your starship and are required for their construction as well. So trained officers are only produced on planets. You can't just, find a deposit somewhere in the universe. You actually have to produce them yourself. These are produced using things like academies or naval headquarters. And also some of your forts and defensive buildings will also give you trained officers as well. The next one, dilithium. Dilithium, again, is primarily, it's found on planets. You might find a deposit that you can build a mining station. For example, we have a deposit of 15 dilithium in the Sol system. However, if you don't find a deposit, you will need to get dilithium either from a planet, so you can build dilithium mines if the deposit exists on certain planets, or on your star bases, there is a dilithium manufactory slot. So if you look at the facilities, for example, here you will see dilithium manufactories. However, it does cost energy and energy upkeep in that case. So moving on, we've looked at these first two. The next one is latinum. So latinum comes from, we first saw it in Star Trek The Next Generation. The Ferengi were very big into latinum. So latinum in Star Trek New Horizons is a way of converting your trade value into something that's usable. So latinum is like a currency. It can be traded for things, either energy on the market. So if we go to our market, we can see that we have latinum here that we can buy and sell for energy. However, on a planet, you can also build something called a starport. And here, latinum can be traded every month for a certain either other items or for energy as well. Yeah, so latinum you will never find as a deposit somewhere in the galaxy. Latinum is something that you have to produce yourself by the way of trade value. So for every 20 trade value you have, you will gain 1 bar of latinum. The next thing we have is water ice. Water ice will sometimes show up as a deposit in the galaxy, but most likely you will have to extract it from a planet that has the resource modifier on it. So if you open, for example, a planet, actually there's a deposit of 40 water ice within the Sol system already. However, if there's not, and you open up a planet, you will have the ability to extract water ice from those that actually have this resource modifier. The same thing is generally true for Brine Nitrate and for Deuterium. So Brine Nitrate, again, usually found on a planet that has a resource modifier, and you have to build an extractor for that. However, on occasion you will find a deposit for it in the galaxy. Brine Nitrate is used as a fertilizer and therefore helps with your food production. Just having Brine Nitrate won't do anything with your food. What you need to do is actually upgrade your farms and things, and these upgrades will require Brine Nitrate in order, 1, to upgrade, and 2, to function. The same thing is true for Deuterium. Again, it's usually something that you will have to produce yourself on a planet. However, there are sometimes deposits in the galaxy, such as the Deuterium deposit in the Sol system, and it's used to construct and to maintain industrial and commercial districts. So these are districts. If you go to your planet, right here, you have industrial districts here and commercial districts there. That's where that's used. The next one down are your luxuries. So luxuries must be produced from rare ground deposits, so produced on a planet that has a specific resource modifier, or it can be imported via the starport. That means that you can exchange latinum for luxuries. These are used to construct and maintain education and administrative districts within your empire or your faction or the race that you're playing, whichever one is applicable. Yes, so that's that. Cordrazine, again, Cordrazine is a medicine that was first introduced, I believe, in Star Trek The Next Generation, but it also featured in both Deep Space Nine and Voyager. This must also be produced on a planet, again with a resource modifier, so you won't just be able to produce Cordrazine on any planet. You need to actually have the resource modifier on the planet, and then you can build a pharmaceutical factory that will produce Cordrazine. This is used to, because it is a medicine, it's used for your hospital systems. So you can build, for example, a hospital on a planet. If we go to Mars, you can see we have a frontier hospital. It only costs minerals to build. However, as you try and upgrade it, the upgrades, 1, will both cost Cordrazine, and 2, will require Cordrazine to maintain as well. Duranium plates, you may find deposits of them within the galaxy. However, it's very likely that you will need to produce some of these on your own. Duranium plates are used to upgrade your starports, so upgrade your star bases in their levels. To build a starbase, you only need 200 alloy. However, to upgrade it from level 1 to level 2 to level 3, etc., you will need increasing amounts of duranium plates at that point in time. There are also Tellonian crystals. These you will have to collect in the galaxy. These cannot be produced. Or you can also trade latinum for Tellonian crystals, and these increase the power of your energy weapons. The same thing is also true for chemosite. So again, it can only be found in the galaxy or traded for at a starport. And chemosite increases the destructive power of your torpedo weapons as well. The same thing is again true for Topoline. It has to be found. It cannot be produced. However, you can trade for it at a starport, and it improves the strength of your shields. So that's very important. Magnesite. So magnesite is used in hull construction. It must be found somewhere within the galaxy and collected using a mining station. Again, it cannot be produced, but it can be imported via the starport. So again, this is exchanging latinum for magnesite. That we then have omega molecules. So omega molecules have to be synthesized, and really this is only applicable for the Borg. So the Borg have to, or will eventually gain the ability to make omega molecules. I believe there might be an event where some are found. And then, yeah, it's used for energy and also for some ship components that are unique to the Borg. For example, the Omega Cube, which is towards the end game for the Borg. We then have, moving next one down, we have time crystals. These were introduced in Star Trek Discovery. So if you're wondering, time crystals, I've never seen that before. I would recommend you go watch you watch Star Trek Discovery to learn more about time crystals. In Star Trek New Horizons, time crystals are received via an event, usually. So someone will, I think Harry Mudd will try and sell you time crystals, and you can either accept or decline or things like that. And these time crystals produce other time crystals. The reason you might want time crystals is that there are certain components and things that use time crystals that are for experimental technologies. There is then also Trillium D. Like the other special resources up here, you can only find Trillium D, you cannot create it. However, it might actually be found on a planet and not just in orbit like these other resources were. So actually on a planet you might have a Trillium D mine. You might also find it in orbit, so you can build an orbital mining station, or again you can trade for it from the starport using latinum. And what Trillium D is used for is for certain components that go into hull construction. So Trillium D was introduced in Star Trek Enterprise when they entered a region known as the Delphic Expanse, which is up here, which is where, if the Xindi form, this is where they form. And yeah, it will increase the hull capacity and resistance of your ships. Moving down, we have Pergium. Pergium is a resource that must be collected either, again, in orbit, or more likely you will find it as a resource deposit on a planet that you have to colonize, or it can be imported via the starport. And Pergium is an extremely powerful energy source that if you have a specific building, which I believe is like a Pergium energy reactor, or it's called something similar, it converts 1 Pergium into 20 energy, so it's a very powerful substance. Again, can't be produced, it has to be found and then mined. And lastly, we have minor artifacts. So minor artifacts were introduced in the base game, and they're also used in Star Trek New Horizons. So you might find major artifacts within the galaxy, but you'll also be able to find minor artifacts as well, or things that produce minor artifacts. These are then used for different decisions on your planet. So for example, if we went to Earth and looked at decisions, if we had any minor artifacts, once we get to a certain amount, another decision will pop up and we'll be able to use these artifacts to have some kind of influence on our planet. For example, increasing the output of artists, for example, or increasing happiness temporarily or permanently if we have enough minor artifacts, things like that. So those can be nice for bonuses on your planets as well. So I hope you found this video informative. I hope you now understand what you can do with each of these special resources, and you also know where to find them now. If you're interested in seeing more videos like this and learning more about Star Trek New Horizons, please subscribe to my channel. I will be posting some more videos about different aspects of the game. And yeah, I hope to see you soon for the next episode. So thank you. Bye.